Well, in the last few moments, we have had a response from the Kremlin, a spokesperson from the Kremlin saying the allegations about Navalny being poisoned with frog venom are a disinformation campaign by the West, this being reported by the TASS news agency. The statement goes on to say there will be results of the analysis, there will be formulas of the substances, there will be a commentary. Without this, all the talks and statements are an information campaign aimed at diverting attention from the pressing problems of the West. Well, let's bring in Bill Browder, the author of Red Notice, How I Became Putin's #1 enemy. He's in Munich for us at that security conference. Good to see you. Perhaps we can start by getting your reaction to what the Kremlin has just said, that these allegations are quite simply a disinformation campaign by the West, who has more pressing problems.
Well, whenever the Kremlin denies something, you know it's probably true. I mean, I was here 2 years ago at the Munich Security Conference on this exact day when Alexei Navalny was killed. We all knew that Vladimir Putin had him killed. But what this information that's come out today confirms is it's not just, as Yulia Navalny said, not just speculation, but proof. And the proof, not just that Putin killed Alexei Navalny, but that Putin used some highly sophisticated poison. And furthermore, this is the second time they've tried to kill Alexei Navalny with poison. The first time they didn't succeed. It was in Siberia with Novichok. And now the second time they succeeded with this rare Ecuadorian frog poison. These are barbaric people, they're murderers, and we should see them for who they are.
And why do you think they chose to use this toxin, this very strange, rare poison? Given that he was in prison already, they could have used any other means, couldn't they, that were much simpler and been able to cover it up probably a little more easily?
Well, probably they wanted to be caught. I mean, Putin is always talking out of both sides of his mouth. On one side, he says, we didn't do it. It's had nothing to do with us. And on the other side, he says, look at how sophisticated the poisons we use are. And if you get in our way, we're going to poison you too. It's a very effective strategy. Most people get scared when they see him using these highly sophisticated poisons. It's certainly a way of it's like terror. You know, it's like terrorizing not just his own people, but anyone who stands against him anywhere in the world. And the fact that they have access to this poison, that they've come up with it. Apparently, it's very difficult to come up with this poison. It's not, you can't just order it online or cook it up in your kitchen, but you have to get it from these frogs in Ecuador, which are endangered species. All points to the security services being involved, and all points to a highly sophisticated state-run operation.
Yeah, I mean, some talk that maybe it could have been reproduced in a lab, but either way, it's certainly vindication for Navalny's wife, isn't it? Because she's been saying this for, as you say, the last 2 years.
Well, anybody who knows Vladimir Putin knows that Alexei Navalny was a major political threat, that Vladimir Putin hates him. Vladimir Putin murders his political opponents, is not the first one, it won't be the last one. And so it was kind of obvious, but to have some kind of scientific proof, I think really does help. And I think it helps right now, because here we are in a situation where there are certain people that are giving Putin some benefit of the doubt, that are trying to reset relations, trying to negotiate with his emissaries. And we should all remember that Putin is a murderer. He's an indicted war criminal. And to be talking to a person like that, you're talking to one of the worst types of people in the world.
Yeah, do you think this will put pressure on those people that perhaps give Putin the benefit of the doubt? Do you think that is why it's been announced on this platform at the Munich Security Conference?
Well, I suspect the reason it's been announced at the Munich Security Conference was because that's where this was the moment and the place in which Yulia Navalny was 2 years ago when the news came through that Alexei was killed. But it certainly has the after effect for anybody who's, for the public to see who Vladimir Putin really is at this moment when Putin is not agreeing to ceasefires in Ukraine and where there are some people in the White House that are giving Putin the benefit of the doubt, and he should not be given the benefit of the doubt. He's a very evil man who orders the killing of the most popular opposition politician in Russia. And I think that says everything.
It's been reported as a violation of the Chemical Weapons Convention. Do you think anyone will be brought to justice as a result of this?
Well, I think that in the end, Putin will be brought to justice for everything he's done. I think that he will see justice one way or another, whether it's for this in The Hague or in some other way. But these dictators generally don't have comfortable retirements.
Navalny's wife in the past has accused unnamed Western countries of keeping quiet over the real cause of her husband's death. She said, I think, this was due to political considerations. What do you think has changed, if anything?
Well, I'm not sure who is keeping quiet about his death. I'm not sure where that comes from, but you know, there probably were some people that are, you know, trying to reset relations with Russia and don't want to rock the boat. But you can't hide the truth. And the truth is that Putin killed Alexei Navalny. He killed him with this rare toxic poison, and that it should be, you know, the world should know it everywhere in the world, and we have to understand that that's who we're dealing with when we're talking about Vladimir Putin.
We've also heard from the Russian embassy in the last few moments here in the UK. They've issued the following statement. The goal of this ridiculous circus performance is transparent, to stoke waning anti-Russian sentiment in Western society. If there's no pretext, they laboriously invent one. This isn't a quest for justice, but a mockery of the dead. Even after the death of a Russian citizen, London and European capitals cannot give him peace, which speaks volumes about the instigators of this campaign. Again, your reaction to that, Bill Browder?
I mean, Russia is bombing and killing civilians every day in Ukraine. They've killed hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian soldiers. This is an unprovoked war of aggression. They've killed all sorts of Russian dissidents and opposition people like Alexei Navalny. For them to say that is just laughable. It's just the height of cynicism. It's just truly evil for them to be saying that type of thing in the context of what's going on in Ukraine and around the world.
Yeah, and just while we have you, it is, of course, 4 years now since this war has been grinding on, a fourth desperate winter for the Ukrainian people. Zelensky is where you are. He's been speaking at the security conference today. What are your thoughts moving forward as those talks are set to resume?
I don't believe that Putin has any intention of agreeing peace. If anything, he's getting more aggressive. It's not in the Russian nature to back down and to compromise. I think these talks are just a way of keeping Trump off his back. It's a way of saying for him to say to Trump, you know, if you do any more sanctions, you're going to upset these delicate peace negotiations. I don't think there's going to be any peace. I don't think he has any intention of doing peace. And you can see that by, you know, in the middle of these negotiations, he continues his bombing campaign on Ukrainian civilians, which is completely criminal and it's the act of a terrorist, not the act of a head of state.
We really appreciate your thoughts this evening, especially your instant reaction to those words from Russia. Bill Browder, author of Red Notice, How I Became Putin's #1 Enemy. Thank you very much.